Tom picked LSU to win the national championship. He said when everyone's not talking about LSU, that's when LSU jumps up and bites you. And sure enough, I mean, as Brian Kelly said after the game, they flushed that first half and they came out and they came up with the winning plays. I thought Blake Baker did a very good job of being able to have that team be aggressive. Harold Perkins, we were talking about making Harold Perkins the duck, figure out a way to isolate him. And he not only played well in this game, but came up with like the winning plays in this game. There was a touchdown that probably should have been that was called back, and yet LSU still wins this game. I thought the kicker's leg fell off, but he was able to come back. I mean, everything was breaking in the direction of Clemson still finding a way to win despite not playing well, and yet LSU emerged from Death Valley playing under the lights with a win against Clemson after trailing at halftime. All of these things, winning at Clemson at night, and doing so after trailing, all of these things are extremely rare during the sort of Dabo Swinney peak heyday. Tom, how did LSU get it done? What were you most impressed by?
Heauxrt, the hort that the LSU showed. There wasn't really one specific aspect I was impressed by. I just thought that they were the better football team. And over 60 minutes, it took them a while to finally take the lead, but they finally got there. They took it, and then they held on to it. It's the offensive line early in the game was looking like it had 4 new starters. And while I wouldn't say that they covered themselves in glory throughout the entire game, because they definitely had some very bad snaps, I think that they did enough at times to actually, keep the ball moving, especially in the run game early. I think that kind of faded late, but LSU also kind of adjusted its play calling to scheme around some of the problems that their offensive line may have been having later in that game. Maybe that's one of the things they changed at halftime. Garrett Nussmeier, I thought, was all right. He finished 28 of 38, but for only 230 yards, a touchdown. So it wasn't exactly an incredible performance. Caden Durham looked good. Aaron Anderson, he's tiny, he's fast, he's hard to follow because you can't see him. And he
good game.
Finds his way into space and then starts running real fast. But I also think that the LSU defense deserves a lot of credit. I mean, the money looks well spent in the secondary. Yeah, I think that you are very pleased with what you've gotten so far. Their linebackers were okay. The defensive line looked good. Cade Klubnik looked like ass. He looked like everybody thinks Arch Manning looked like. Just terrible. Where's Danny now? Danny's gone before Cade Klubnik comes up. You can notice that. One of the best quarterbacks in the country, 19 of 38 for 230 yards, no touchdowns, an interception, but he did rush for 1 yard on 8 carries because he's a dual threat. Doesn't show up against a big-time opponent. He's not shaking the allegations, folks.
I think Tom nailed it there. I thought LSU did a great job just saying, hey, like we're going to be who we are, and that means sending pressure. And Clemson, can you handle it? Can you adjust to it? And they did not. I've never been a Klubnik guy when it comes to like, hey, I think he's a top half of the first round type dude. To me, like those guys have a different look to them generally. And I just, I've seen Cade in person, like a number of times, just like, he's good. I just don't think he's like special. And yet, what are they, 1-7 now, I think, against ranked non-ACC teams since that Sugar Bowl against Ohio State? Like when Clemson has played similar athletes in recent years, it's not gone too well for them. And I don't know if it's a toughness thing or a mentality thing or whatever, but you see all this NFL draft projection stuff. Like they didn't play like a team that had 8 projected draft picks or whatever it was. I thought LSU outcoached them. Like credit to Baker, the LSU DC, for like just being true to who they were and trusting their guys in the secondary. That team has gotten a whole lot better over the last 2 years on defense. To Tom's point, I thought Delane, the corner they bought for Virginia Tech, was really good. Like that was huge. Obviously, we know Clemson had the receiver injury there earlier in the game. It couldn't help, but I don't know if it's just one guy that made all that difference. And like LSU, they got pressure when they brought it. When they dropped, like Clemson's line was okay, but if they're going to send it like that, you kind of got to make them pay. And I thought their pickup was not great. Cade does have a tendency to bail out of pockets prematurely. That doesn't always mean like it's the wrong call, but like he sees some pressure and he gets out of there quick. And like the Clemson fans have seen a lot of this roll right, throw it out of bounds stuff, or roll right, dirt the ball in prior years. You know, to Tom's point, like I thought they did a great job of letting Perkins be what he really can be, which is just be a crazy person off the edge, you know, and just go with it. And you know, like they didn't have to get out of it because Clemson never made him pay for it.
No,
it was great. I mean, from LSU standpoint, you know, LSU also ran the ball for 100 yards, which we didn't see last year. I don't think that offensive line was great, but ultimately, I do think Clemson has a lot of future pros on their D line, and they did not dominate LSU up and down the board.
Clemson couldn't run the ball to save its life.
No.
Like, even if you take out the sack yardage, they average 2.9. Yeah. Like, that's those running backs that when your best running back is a wide receiver, I'm worried. Here's the question for you. Is Clemson even one of the two best teams in the ACC after what we saw today?
It's one game. I definitely think they are.
Come on, Bud, say it. But, no, they're behind Florida State now, Bud.
That's true. Yeah.
Clemson roster reminds me more of SMU than it does Miami and Florida
State.
Whoa, I'm kidding. Based on what I said about Florida State last week.
Is Cade like a top 100 pick?
No. Well, he might be. There are a lot of dumb GMs out there.
Like I think if you're an NFL team and you're like, yeah, we want this guy with like a top 20 pick. I don't know, man. Like, there's not a lot of Stanford and Cal in the NFL.
If Cade was a top 100 pick, he's not at Clemson right now.
It was a good QB draft. Well, no. Okay, fair.
Is he Quinn Ewers?
No, I think he'd be taken higher than Quinn Ewers because he doesn't have the health issues and health concerns that Quinn had.
He's bigger.
He's more mobile that way. So like you feel like there's stuff you can do there, but I just don't think as far as NFL talent, what they're looking for, he has a lot of it as a passer.
Is he a lot bigger than Quinn Ewers?
He's taller.
He's taller. Quinn, I mean, he's thicker. Quinn's pretty slight.
Yeah.
What do you think Cade's going to measure at?
6'1", 210. Just eye testing.
What did Ewers measure at?
Oh, let me check.
I don't like having seen both these guys in person. Like in my mind, I'm not like Cade is definitively like bigger, more imposing than Quinn.
Quinn is 6'2", 210, so maybe 215. Okay.
He has put on size for sure. He was more bulked up at Elite 11 when you saw him without the pads on. I will give him that.
I think that if you're putting on the orange tinted glasses, you're being like, well, if only we had Antonio Williams. I don't think Antonio Williams would have saved this. like if only a couple of those catches, because Cade did make some good throws down the sideline late in this game that just didn't end up coming to fruition. There were some things, some tough breaks, where things just didn't go Clemson's way. But like I mentioned, there was a litany of things that they did go their way, and yet they still were not able to cash in on it. If Clemson's offensive line for a long time has been a spot of sort of division among the way you look at Clemson's offense, because, Bud, when you're talking about the athletes and how you look against different teams, that Clemson's offensive line has been able to mash against a lot of opponents on their schedule, but then they've had skill players and quarterbacks that have been able to overcome whatever deficiencies they have there against an Alabama back when Nick Saban was running it, or against the Ohio State teams that Urban was coaching when they were beating Ohio State. I mean, remember how many times did Urban Meyer lose to Clemson back there in that run of about 8 years? I mean, it was about 3 losses.
At least twice,
mm-hmm. Yeah. And in those cases, they had quarterbacks and wide receivers that were able to go get it done. I don't know. It's going to be very, very difficult because Clemson's going to get a shot at Florida State, and that'll be the redemption opportunity.
Yeah.
And that'll be a game. I mean, one of the things I wrote for CBSSports.com was when I was writing about Clemson and sort of previewing about Florida State and previewing what's ahead, Florida State has entered that conversation with the Clemson, with the Miami. I mean, at a minimum, we've brought Clemson down a notch. We have moved Florida State up a notch. So within the ACC, those are teams within the same conversation. With a Louisville, with an SMU, like that is it's a crowded and with a Miami. It's a crowded and interesting conversation. But unfortunately for the ACC, crowded and interesting does not gain you a ton of respect nationally. You know, like they entered this game with the top 5 team, and now we're back to seeing, okay, and let's see who emerges from the ACC, the same way we talk about the Big 12.
It's a way different conversation than it would have been in the 4-team era. I think you still have a really good shot at getting multiple teams in. You know, like I don't think a lot of teams are going to rise up and beat Clemson. You know, and they're going to say, okay, it's a 1-score loss, albeit at home, certainly. You know, to a team in LSU, I think we have to upgrade after tonight because their defense looks good.
Right.
Like I don't think that is like this isn't keeping Clemson out of the playoff. This could, in theory, back in the 4-team era, certainly.
You know, but the adjustment that needs to happen for a team that, like, Bill C was right. But, you know, Bill Connolly out here, like, I've been on a book tour, and in all my book tour appearances, I'm hating on Clemson because I'm telling you they're not the 4th best team in the country, and they looked a lot more like the 10th best team in the country than the 4th best team in the country here on this Saturday. Now, the 10th best team in the country can still make the college football playoff, but if we were talking about this season as being a return to glory, then that was going to be different. All right, what about LSU? Can LSU win the SEC?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what would have had to happen today for you to say they definitively could not? Either Arch looks amazing or Simpson looks amazing, right?
Or like, Alabama blew Florida State out of the water, or Texas beat Ohio State. I think there's a shrink too, and a leveling of what's happening in the SEC.
If one of the teams out there that we think has the best rosters also paired that with a quarterback that was playing unbelievably, we would say, that team looks hard to beat, or like almost impossible to beat. But Texas and Alabama did not show that, right? So I think the SEC is wide open. You know, Georgia,
not a lot. It's weird, man. There's not a lot of robots in college football. No, everybody would play to their peak efficiency if they were all robots. Anything else from?
That's a pretty nice 7-hour. Like LSU fans had a good day. Like watching Alabama get whipped and then
it's a great day to be a Tiger.
And St. Arch didn't stay home in his home state. Going the road late in Ohio State like that. Yeah.
One last thing about this game. The bus thing is stupid. Can we please stop showing the bus? If you want to show them run down the hill, cool. I dig that. Yeah, the hill's cool, but I don't need to see them get in a bus and ride around the stadium for 2 minutes and then get out and run down the hill. Just show them running down the hill. Nobody cares about the buses. Let's stop pretending that's cool.
2013 is when FSU went in there and punked them, right? Yeah, right.
You know better.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 2013, they dog walked everybody.
I'm sitting like next to Pat 40, and I forgot it was on my left. We were watching it. Like, this is it's been dumb for a decade, guys. Like, we don't need to see the bus. Like, the hill is cool. The bus is dumb. Thank you.
They don't go that far.
They literally drive around the stadium. It's lazy. Think about the culture. You're telling your team that walking 50 feet is too much. We need to get on a bus.
It's insane. Like there's so much cool stuff to showcase at Clemson. It's like, if you guys have been there, you know, it's just it's really cool. There's a lot of stuff you can show. We don't need to showcase the bus.
It's an incredible stadium in a beautiful setting. Like, just show that. Just show that.
Like putting the camera like in the bus, like whatever producer at ESPN thought that was cool in 2013 is like thinks that's still cool in 2025. Like, bro, it's played out. Come on.
He owns the bus company.
No. I like the overreaction that it makes them soft.
It does. It's a soft mindset.
It can't be a safety issue to walk 50 feet. You're literally running down a hill with a crowd of people around you.
More dangerous.
Yeah.